sports? I know it's early in the morning for you, but
I've been up for a while. I've been watching film for a little while as a staff. So,
man, take a break, Coach. Take a couple hours break. You've earned it.
you gotta get it done early. I have kids.
There you go. Film work never ends for high school coaches, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Tell us about last night. Obviously, you guys are on a roll. Kind of doing everything right so far in the early going of this season. You got a big win over Bridgeton. What's that mean to you to become the all-time winningest coach in St. Augustine history? I know you've been trying to build this program up into what it has become now today. That's got to be a great feeling for yourself and your staff to get to where you are now.
Yeah, I think it's more, an indication of where we are with the kids. It's if you coach long enough, you realize that you get to do it as long as you're successful and as long as you continue to do the right thing. But these kids have, a 4-year experience. So for me, the numbers don't really matter. It's more about, what are they taking away from it and what are they learning in terms of character building and the things that the game's teaching. Yeah, I know it's cliche, but I believe it. I mean, I really do. It's the last thing is this is about me. My staff does an unbelievable job. I'm just another component to what we do.
Talking with head coach Mark Reardon of St. Augustine Prep. Coach, surprised at all at how well the defense has been playing this year? You lost Jim Brady out of the middle there. You lost some other guys that were key components of that defense. But you guys have really been playing well and shutting down some traditionally strong programs.
Not really. I mean, I have 5 seniors starting for me on defense, and all 5 have played for 3 years. So, and 2 of them are 4-year starters. So for us, it's it's just the consistency of the kids, and we have played well. We've had some hiccups here and there, and our offense has bailed us out a little bit, but. Overall, I think the kids have just been consistent. They show up every day, with a workmanlike attitude, and we try and get better during the course of the season without, getting them hurt in practice. But they've just done a real good job of executing what we're asking them to do.
Tell us a bit more about Kyle Dobbins. He kind of seems like he runs with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's not the biggest guy, maybe about 175 pounds or so, 180 around in that range, but it almost looks like every week he's out there trying to prove himself to anybody who's watching.
Yeah, and I think that's accurate. I think he's playing with an edge, and it's important that he continues to do that. Kyle is an explosive, fast, great vision, great change guy. But probably the most important thing about him is just his commitment to his teammates. He just really deflects a lot of the stuff that happens with him to the offensive line or to his quarterback or to the other guys he's playing with. So he's really a selfless kid and has really developed over the last couple of years.
How great is that, Coach, this time of year when you start seeing the college offers come in for some of these guys and guys who have been working so hard for 3 or 4 years, and to really see that payoff of hey, I can make something of myself at the next level? That's got to be a great feeling as a coach to see those letters arrive at the kid's home, and it's such a big thrill for the parents when they see the letterhead from that university that everybody knows. A school like Northwestern just offered Kyle, so you're starting to see some big time programs take some interest in what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's great. This is it's a dream for the families and for the kids, and I'm very excited for Kyle and his family, and we're hopeful for more offers to come in. I can't see why somebody wouldn't offer them, but again, that's my opinion. But it's Sully, it's across the board. It's not just the kid who's going to the Division I program, and we love that. And I'm as excited about our guys who are going to play at Division II or III programs. It's very hard to play college football at any level, and we'll have 10 seniors this year, and 9 of them will play somewhere next year. So that's part of the mechanic too. There's every kid who wants to do it, and some have the ability to do it to play at the next level, and the guys who don't should play at the level that suits them and have a wonderful career. Because if football's important to you, you want to go somewhere where you can play. And I talk to the kids all the time about that. And Kyle has the ability to play at the Division I level, but maybe one of the other guys doesn't. But it's just as important to him to be loved up and recruited at wherever he can play. So
right.
that's part of it. That's part of it for all the kids. If they want to go play, hopefully we'll develop them well enough that they can play to their strengths and play to the division that, suits them best.
Talk with head coach Mark Reardon of St. Augustine Prep. Coach, we spoke about this when I was working on a feature about your linebacker, Dean Kolinich, and every football coach really wants this for their program, is to have these young men develop off the field as much as they do on the field and become solid citizens, volunteers, leaders in the school and the community. And you guys have done a great job of that. How important is that to get these kids to understand that, hey, there's life outside of football, and we want you to be outstanding young men when you graduate first before you're a good football player?
It's the most important thing, without a doubt. I mean, it's what St. Augustine is. It's what they aspire to do every day for every kid in the school. And, football players just have some more recognition because of their ability on the athletic field. But at the same time, they should use that notoriety that they get from the sport to promote other things, to promote empathy for people and to try and help somebody else, because, those are the life skills that we're really trying to teach them and have them go into the world and affect somebody else's life. And to tell you the truth, as a coach, that's what I'm doing. That's what we're all doing. We're affecting somebody else's life, and it just happens to be kids, which makes it way more rewarding. But, that's where, we get the Super Bowl for me is watching those guys graduate and then come back in 4 years after graduating from college and become a doctor or a lawyer or, something along those lines, if that's what they want to do.
How often do you take that right to the kids? Is that something you do on a daily basis, a weekly basis? How often do you remind these kids of their status in the community, the status in the school? Is that sort of just something that's always present, or do you go out of your way to talk to these kids? Do you do it one-on-one? How do you handle that end of coaching?
I think the great thing about being in a school like St. Augustine is that's handled through the school on a daily basis. Do I remind our players that that's something that needs to be part of their life? Absolutely. But, I don't dwell on a whole lot. They're still kids, and, we like to have fun, and, I'll get serious with them, enough from a life perspective. But yeah, it's ingrained in what we do as a school, as a football program. And, that's why you send your kid to St. Augustine, so he can be more than he currently is. So he can, be a change agent in society. So the school handles a lot of that, and they talk a lot about that. And, it's one of the things that I admire most about the place.
Coach, I know last night's win is still fresh on your mind, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about next week. I'm sure your phone's going to be ringing a lot this week from reporters all over South Jersey wanting to know your thoughts about going into Holy Spirit. 2 5-0 teams going at it. They've got a great offense, great running back in Reggie Jean-Charles. They've been playing some solid defense. Give me some of your quick thoughts. I know you're not really started. Well, I guess you have to start preparing for that game. In the middle of the night last night. So, what are your thoughts going into next week?
First let me say that those, I graduated from there. Charlie was a coach there and played there. So, obviously the history with us is one that's very good, and we have very fond memories of the place. And, even the guys on the staff we're still very close with and friends with. So for us, it's, it's a little bit of a homecoming in terms of our staff, but in terms of their program, I mean, they've just done a tremendous job. The kids are, I think the thing you take off a film, which I respect the most because it's what we try and do, is they just play harder than people. They're more physical than people. And, they may not be in certain spots be better than you, but they'll play like it. And that has a great deal to do with the message that's being sent through their staff. And their kids are really, really impressive in terms of how hard they play. And, it's fun to watch because it's what our ideals are here. Run the football, play good defense, be able to play act when you can, and be great on special teams. So it just seems like it's it's a little bit like looking in the mirror at this point for us is what they're trying to get accomplished, and they've done a really good job.
I got to believe the hype is going to be cool for these players around this game. They're going to be talking about it all week. I'm sure there's going to be back and forth on Twitter and all that stuff. And that's what you want as you're going into mid-October, big games that people get excited about. There's going to be a huge crowd out there. Talk about that real quick, just the atmosphere of this kind of game when both teams are coming in 5-0.
It's awesome. I mean, it's great for us. It's great for Spirit, I'm sure, and it's, in my opinion, it's good for the area. To have a game where there's some rivalry involved, that's going to be very competitive and two teams competing against each other. I mean, I love it. I love the fact that in the second week in October, you and I are talking about this, and we've been excited for a long time to go down there and play them. And I love the fact that it's there, and our kids are going to be put in harm's way a little bit in terms of adversity. It's just awesome. So we're really, really fired up to go down and play.
Well, tell your boys Kolinich and Mahar to strap on tight. RJC's coming after them.
It's going to be fun, really is, and we're really excited to.
Hey, I'm psyched up for it, and it's still 6 days away. So
we'll have some fun.
Cool. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you taking a few minutes, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Buddy. Take care, bud.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye.
That's Coach Mark Reardon from St. Augustine Prep.